So I've had the good fortune to have two children, one of whom I gave birth to myself, and had a relatively easy pregnancy, a birth and a breastfeeding experience that were in many ways ideal. And that, the first moment I remember my son was laid on my chest after giving birth, it was just, he's here. But that was sort of mixed up, I guess, with exhaustion because you've just given birth. But, it was very different to the second time around where someone else had given birth to my child. And I remember that first moment I was holding her was a mild panic because I almost dropped her because she was sort of slippery and tiny and I was a bit clumsy, and it was very different. But two things can be very different and equally wonderful, I suppose. So my son's birth was stock standard, the delirium of giving birth yourself and then holding that baby, and the second time round it was the end of a much longer, more epic planning process that you almost couldn't believe had worked out this way. But the practical difficulties, for example, that my breast milk just wasn't there in the same way that it was the first time, that, within the first few hours we were considering, supplement milk, she's not getting enough milk, I don't know if this is working. So those little practical difficulties, they didn't take the shine off it, but I just had slightly different worries. The first time it was healing my own body and recovering. The second time it was making sure our surrogate was recovering well, making sure the baby had enough milk and not being entirely sure about that. And also just that bizarre feeling of there'd been 9.5 years between my first two children. It was like, oh God, I've forgotten everything. So that was not to do with the surrogate, it was just this enormous gap of, she's so tiny, what do I do? But you just relearn it.